Hey guys, it's the Witnesses Podcast, your weekly dose of all Cleveland Browns and Cavs news. We're your hosts, Zack and Tom. Stick around, guys. Today we talk about it, the elephant in the room. We talk about, was Kobe Altman too drunk when he signed TT? What to expect against the Tennessee Titans. Guys, we're getting into it in this episode 3, man. You guys ready? Set. T. W.
P.
Tom, Browns lose to the Steelers on Monday Night Football in a day where we lost our lead rusher. Our quarterback looked like Freaky Friday. He was in a different body. And today woke up and it was even worse. Man.
Yeah. I mean, this is what you signed up for when you said, let's do a Cleveland sports podcast. A day like today was bound to happen at some point. So now we really find out who we are, what kind of podcasters we are. Yeah, we lost yesterday, and it was brutal. In a game that we should have won. But early in the second quarter, Nick Chubb, horrific injury. It was very disgusting. I don't know if you saw the stills. We definitely will not share them on the podcast. But
Heck no.
If you're a weird person and want to see a gross injury, look it up. But it kind of felt like that affected the whole game just emotionally. Obviously, it affected the whole game in a lot of ways after that. But it felt like everybody was affected by that for both teams, was like caught off guard because it was quite devastating.
Yeah, it was like I read today somebody said it was like losing a family member. And I just like...
Was that me? No, I'm just kidding.
No, and that was probably... Guys, shout out to R Browns on Reddit. You guys got me through last night because it was... it felt like funeral the whole time. And even when we were up, it kind of felt like we were going to lose. Like, just did not feel good. Yesterday did not feel good.
Yeah, it was a weird game. Like, that was a really weird, gruesome injury that happened, but a lot of weird plays happened at weird times, and it felt like it just ended also. Like, it wasn't a very exciting ending. The game just kind of stopped and at the end. Which, when time runs out, that's how it goes. Also, this is the first time I'm going to be drinking on the podcast, so I'm going to have a beer.
I think you guys can all, understand. And those of you that partake, please get one and another one, because it's going to be one of those kind of podcasts where there's a lot of takes right now of people just saying outlandish stuff. Guys, this is where you're going to get the best take. We're two experts. We really know what we're talking about. It's depressing, Tom. -7 yards in the fourth quarter for the Steelers on offense, and we still found a way to lose. I wanted to ask you, who's to blame for this loss? Stefanski, the Browns, or is it just cursed?
Oh, man, I honestly feel cursed. It's everything. I don't think that Stefanski called a good game, but I don't think he had like a horribly coached game. Deshaun had some bad turnovers. He's probably number one to blame, but also like people have turnovers and they don't all end up being touchdowns. But yesterday, 2 of them were touchdowns, and it was clearly the difference. Their defense scored more than their offense did. Their formula for success, even though it may not have been their plan, was let's not have Kenny Pickett be on the field. And it worked for him. I think everybody was quite devastated. Like I said, that Nick Chubb got hurt. It felt like some people were playing in slow motion. So it was a weird primetime loss. But it's not the end of the world. We can absolutely bounce back from something like this. The real devastation is Nick Chubb is out for the year. And that's, God, I hope he can come back, because that's the same knee he injured horribly in 2017 in Georgia. So, I really hope he can bounce back from this.
Tough when you think about it. People instantly did that with Rodgers towards Achilles, and they thought about his age and what it takes to come back, and they said he might retire. Same thing here. I mean, the guy got his knee reconstructed, that same knee that the Steelers knew about. It was public information. He got that same knee reconstructed, and on the Pivot podcast told them that it was the hardest thing he ever had to do in his life was recover from this injury. So now you're thinking, man, this guy's going to do the hardest thing in the league, where if he goes and proves himself when he comes back in 2 years, will they respect running backs by then and pay him? Is it even worth it to come back? That's, for the experts to talk about later in the podcast. But I agree with you. The season's not over. People need to stop freaking out. We're one signing away. We are one quarterback away. Like, as soon as Freaky Friday is done and that person inside Deshaun's body leaves and Deshaun comes back, there's a way to get back on track. Not to mention, it is only week 2.
It is week 2, and we lost in Pittsburgh. It's not like we lost a game at home that we should have won. We lost a game on the road we should have won. But that happens. Division matchups, sometimes division rivalries surprise you, and a team that shouldn't beat another team beats them. It happens.
And the Steelers are 20-0 Monday Night Football when they play. So,
well, I mean, the announcers were very sure to make sure we knew that, and also talk about any negative stats about the Browns. They made sure to put those graphics up. They used the same exact graphics they used last year when we played the Jets, and they were like, the Browns are about to be 2-0 for the first time ever, and then we lose. And they did the same thing last night. Like, they were so ready to all over Cleveland. They just wanted to spread their Joe Buck butt cheeks and all over the Browns. Was
that Troy Aikman next to him? I can't
he
tell.
looks old as hell.
Old as hell. They don't have any analysis that is unique, and we'll get into this later, but man, it just feels like it is Cleveland against the world at all times, man.
No, Kenny Pickett would go a full quarter without completing a pass, and then he'd get one first down, and they'd go, oh, nice throw. Oh. It was like, okay, God, stop. Can you not do that with Kenny Pickett?
Wow, what a nice 3-yard throw. The way George Pickens turned around. It's just blown coverage, blown tackle. Like, can we all relax here? Anyone on the Steelers. Kenny Pickett, they're ready to give him an excuse and off for his 3-yard pass. And Pickens, I'm hearing he's like, he could be top 5 receiver, everyone's saying right now. It's like, can we all slow our roll? If our quarterback knew how to throw the ball, this would be a different story. Chubb in or Chubb out.
No, and Chubb was primed for a huge game. He had 64 yards at the end of the first quarter. Like, I texted people, this is the Chubb game. He was primed for 200 yards, but, he got a helmet to his knee. George Pickens had a good game, but he had one blown coverage play. If not for that play, he has like a mildly good game. But now people are like, oh my God, is that Hines Ward out there? Is that Santonio Holmes? No, it's not. He's good. I'm not trashing George Pickens, but you get a blown coverage. If it was the Browns, they would be reminding us constantly that it was a blown coverage. But it wasn't. It was the Steelers, so they're like, Jerry Rice? Is that you? Jerry?
Tom, let's get into this Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, we kind of touched on. He had a brutal season-ending injury. I don't know if the word is officially out, if timetable or anything, but can we talk about Minkah Fitzpatrick and what you said? If you haven't listened to what Tom said about the Steelers and how he broke that down, the Muhammad Massaquoi incident, the incident where Mike Tomlin is on the sideline during a Ravens kick return where he trips the guy and gets fined $100,000. James Harrison recently saying that Mike Tomlin gave him an envelope after that hit on Massaquoi with money in it. It's an organization that knew about what happens. This is on a scouting report. This is something that they learn about. And it seemed like targeting to me. Am I crazy? Am I the only person thinking that?
You're definitely not. I don't know if I want to say that he targeted his knee, but, you can go low without, delivering a helmet to the kneecap. Like, you can still hit somebody low without hitting them that way. They definitely knew that was his knee that he had injured before, and they also were starting to feel, oh wow, he's got 60 yards in one quarter. If this continues, we're going to be holding his jockstrap all game. So I think it was a dirty hit, but this game had a lot of dirty hits from both sides. This is the AFC North. These are dirty teams. I'm not saying that Cleveland didn't play a dirty game, but gosh, it's a pretty big accusation to say that like Minkah Fitzpatrick tried to do this, because this
how is it a big accusation if it's proven that Nick Chubb,
he is the guy in the league, and I know I said it last week that he doesn't get enough respect, but like everybody loves him because he kicks your ass and he doesn't talk like he is respectful. He does everything the right way. He's as blue collar as you can be while being a multimillionaire. He's like, he is the perfect human being if you were to create a running back. And yeah, to say that somebody who injured him did it on purpose is a pretty big accusation, because he's one of the spokesmen for the league for somebody who doesn't talk at all.
Well, I mean, I think it's just a normal accusation with the normal franchise that it's proven. They do this kind of stuff.
Their track record doesn't help.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help that when you think about it, what is the difference between Mike Tomlin and a guy like Al Capone? These guys that pay money and send hits out on other people. And, you know, Al Capone did scouting reports on his ops, just like the Steelers do scouting reports on us. If you do not think for a moment they don't go, hey, that knee, then come on. It's just nuts. It's clear to me. It's written all over.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I think your take is fair. I also want to just like mock the announcers, because yeah, the Steelers fans clapped when Nick Chubb got carted off the field, as does every single franchise in the league. Anytime somebody gets hurt, everybody claps. It doesn't matter what sport we're talking about. And the Steelers fans clapped for Nick Chubb, and the announcers were like, "Oh God, so classy. Oh God, just so much class here in Pittsburgh. Look at all these people. Not a lot of teeth out here, but a lot of class."
They said it like 7 times. After it was. They're like,
yeah, let's applaud the Steelers fans for applauding a cart. Like, yeah,
it was rough. It also was just tough to see stoic Batman Nick Chubb, just like that picture that's on the screen. If those of you are on our YouTube, smash that notification, like button, and subscribe button. But him showing an emotion like that, you knew 100%. You knew that it was over. And I mean, shout out. The only thing the announcers did good was listen to their producer and not re-show the injury and how it happened, because it was disgusting.
It looked like something out of Mortal Kombat. Like it was bent in a way that was truly disgusting.
I think it was Gordon Hayward that had the bone sticking out of him in the NBA. Yeah, it was one of those.
Maybe Paul George,
one of those load management fellers. They. It was disgusting. It was
gross. It was Joe Theismann-esque, Alex Smith-esque. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It's better that it was on the knee and not like a bone splitting, but it still was horrific.
And it's funny because I spent all my weekends watching UFC, and then I see something like this, and I'm like, that's disturbed. Too far. You know, it just has that kind of effect. And you know, we talked about the dirty play by Minkah Fitzpatrick. For me personally, I think it's 100% confirmed dirty. I honestly think that it would be crazy if he suited up another game in his life the what he did to our boy Nicholas Chubb, who we're praying for. Deshaun's face mask gets called for a face mask twice. Tom, dirty play or in line?
You know, the first time it happens, you want to say like, you know, I could see how a stiff arm, you know, and your finger gets caught, like you can kind of make an excuse for it. But then you see like the slow-mo of him like dragging the guy's helmet and kind of like making eye contact with him as he tosses the guy. And then he does it again. I was like, are you flustered? Now, I want to say this. Both of these plays happened after, in the second quarter, we were near our end zone. We had the ball. It was third down. And Deshaun got sacked by a face mask. And the announcers called it out loud. And they did this a lot all night, too. They'd go, missed call. That's all right. You know, like sometimes that just happens in the league. But yeah, Deshaun got dragged down by his face mask, and they were, Pittsburgh's going crazy like they have a great team, and no call. So maybe it was a little bit of frustration, maybe it was a little bit of payback, but it was ultimately dirty. It's like, dude, hit one really solid pass and then talk some trash. Don't throw a guy by his face mask. I don't know, man. Like those plays, those two face masks, like, really lowered my bar for him, because he hasn't shown us enough glimpses of us like really being able to believe in his quarterback play. He's a great athlete, obviously, but his quarterback play hasn't been great, and that really knocked him down a few notches for me, where I was like, do you have anything left in the tank?
Oof, tough question, which we'll get into. Guys, smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, hit the bell and get the notifications. First time he does it, I go, hey, 3rd and hella long, we're down, but I love it. I wanted to see, I thought he was the type of player, when I see something like that, is he has to do something in that nature to get in, and like his brain is snaps. So I expect you to complete passes after that, not totally fuck up. And, do that. And when they asked him about it, he said, man, what do you expect for me to do? The guy was pushing me, and I was pushing back and grabbing and I'm like, hold on. This sounds like something that happened last offseason, where you're justifying something that's like, hey, stop, shut up. He does it once, it doesn't get him in the game. He does it again, and then it's 3rd and even longer. And as the quarterback, you have to understand that you can't do that. You can't lose the field position game. That's off limits,
Yeah. I mean, I want to talk about his 3 turnovers. His first one, it hit Harrison Bryant in the hands, and I honestly don't blame Deshaun for that. I think that was a bit of a goofy play. I mean, it popped up in the air. Fitzpatrick caught it. Bryant hits it out of his hands into Highsmith's hands, and he walks into the end zone. Like, it was kind of like a goof. There was a few plays like this in this game where the ball got knocked loose and was just kind of like, it was a quick scramble. So I don't blame him for that turnover. The fumble on the 4th down and 1 run, you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. I honestly thought it was a smart play call. That was one where Kevin got cute, and it worked. He had some in this game where he got cute, and it didn't work. But that one, it worked, and then it just got punched out, and it's super unfortunate. Too many mistakes. And then the pressure from Highsmith, where it was a strip sack for a touchdown and TJ Watt walked in. I don't want to say that Highsmith and TJ Watt aren't amazing, because they both played their asses off, and they made that stuff happen. I mean, like a blindside hit, he didn't see it coming. Strip sack happens all the time. You just also don't expect those to go for touchdowns.
But he's holding it like a loaf.
Yeah, he's about to throw it. I don't know. Like, yeah, he didn't see the hit coming. He's got to have better awareness. He's got to be more mobile and agile. He's not as advertised yet. I don't know, man. He had a really, really bad game, and I don't put all the blame on him, but I would say most of the blame is on him.
Well, why did we get him? We got him so he can bail us out. We got him for what we thought he was going to be. Mike Vick spent 21 months in jail and came back and still balled out.
Yeah.
So it is possible, but it doesn't seem likely. Tom, when is it time to panic?
Well, we play the Titans and then we play the Ravens, and we will really know what this team is about after those 2 games, because we then have a bye week and we can regroup. Even if we're 1-3 at that point, we can regroup, but like, this is the ultimate litmus test to start your season, is 3 divisional games and then a tough opponent like the Titans. Titans aren't, and we'll talk more about them in a bit, they're not a perfect team. They're limited in a lot of different areas, but they're well coached, and they're going to punch you in the mouth. When is it time to panic on Deshaun, though? I mean, maybe right now. We're feeling it. If he doesn't, I also said this to somebody who was kind of going off like, what are we going to do about him? And I think he might need to have a game or two where he beats the hell out of some bad teams and gets some swag back. Sometimes, shooters need to see the shot go in a few times. Like he needs to get some confidence back because right now he's not playing confidently. But I get it. Like, the Steelers have an incredible pass rush. So, yeah, he was playing scared in Pittsburgh. Like, it showed. He played scared. I mean, Baker Mayfield right now is 2-0 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And
Stop it.
Statistically, he's played way better than Deshaun has. I'm not saying I want to keep Baker, but, like, we clearly are not seeing our investment pay out right now. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the next few weeks, but this is a 5-year deal. This is $230, So we better see a lot more soon.
We better hold him accountable. I think head coach and the QB, they have to go in tandem. Either that something's off there, or it's this guy. Like, the one thing that really bothered me, and when I kind of said, man, we might lose this game, other than the first 10 minutes, was seeing Deshaun have this Russell Wilson-esque treatment like he had last year, where they're like, oh, hey, that guy next to Deshaun Watson, that's his personal coach. And it seems like we laid our entire table
meditation.
out. Yes,
oh,
that
man.
meditation guy, I needed the medication after that. And he was saying, I think the guy mouthed him like, you're good, man, you're good. It's like he is not.
You're going to run really fast and throw
Deep
really far.
Breath. In through the belly and out through the mouth, Deshaun. Oh, yeah, let me hire you. And
he's just whispering like, I've done nothing wrong, ever. I've never done anything wrong.
And that's how I got this job, by telling you did nothing wrong.
The courts always get it right. The justice system isn't flawed.
Absolutely.
I am good.
You are hired. Russell Wilson had the same treatment last year, where he had offices and his personal coaches, and Sean Payton came in and said, to hell with all that, and whatever you think about Sean Payton. I thought that was a good move. We gave him everything, and he didn't have an audition. He just kind of played around with us. I would have loved to see him in Atlanta right now, and us not having to deal with. It's like the only way the Browns can ever get a great quarterback, so-and-so, is if he has 26 allegations, he has 2 years off, and we're not really sure if he's that good, and we're like, let's take a chance.
And no one's willing to pay him except for a crazy old man.
Jimmy and D.
Thank you, Jimmy and D. And their daughter approved it, so that this organization cares about women.
Oh, thank God! And we have a woman, Callie.
Yeah,
don't forget about her.
Callie's definitely a woman,
and she's never had.
We support women. We do it.
Absolutely. And hey, DUIs happen to all of us in Cleveland. Okay.
Oh my God. I like Callie. We don't need to trash Callie.
No, I like Callie
and her DUI.
It's just a depressing. It's just
all right. Next slide.
Time.
I can't. We're too upset about this guy right now
because he fucking sucks.
Okay, so we've talked about this a little bit, but there was some missed calls and there was some stroking of the Steelers. This is the last play of the game, and despite all of the goofiness that happened, we were down 22-26 with over a minute left, and we were driving. I think we had gotten a first down or two. Deshaun takes a big sack. It's third and long. It's like 3rd and 10. And they call up a classic Kevin Stefanski play. I hate when he does this. He does it all the time when we're down. DPJ runs a fade and is looking for a pass interference call. He's not even trying to catch the ball. He's trying to get a pass interference call. But they got it. Look at that jersey. This happened earlier in the game. Patrick Peterson had his hands inside of somebody's shoulder pads, and the announcers were like, great coverage there. And then the refs threw a flag, and they were like, oh, I don't know about that. His hands were inside the jersey. This is the same situation. Look at that. You can see his nip practically. No call. No call. 3rd and 10, prime time, minute left, no call. You're going to tell me that wouldn't have happened for a different team? Like, dude, that's it. It's so Cleveland. It's so Cleveland. I'm sure like the Jets or the Lions of the world or other teams that have had struggles, they would say like, yes, that's a call that we get. But the Patriots don't get a call like this, or they would get the call like this. The Steelers would get this call. The Cowboys would get this call. It's just, why are we playing the game? If we're not going to follow the rules, why are we playing the game? Like, let's give shivs. Let's legalize helmets to knees. Let's let people pull jerseys and rip them. Like, just do whatever you want. And they're complimenting Joey Porter Jr. for this. Also, Joey Porter Jr. is a rookie. Refs are typically watching rookie cornerbacks to make sure that they're respecting the rules. It's prime time. This is the only game on TV at this point, and they missed this call on the last drive of the game. It's just... And at that point, we had lost Nick Chubb, and we had seen so much turmoil. We saw so many turnovers. And Browns fans didn't even have fight for this moment. I get it. We're all still pissed about it, but like... We had been kicked in the nuts so many times. We watch a play like this and we go, I'm unfazed. I see this always.
Go back to the Chiefs game. Remember that?
Sorensen head-to-head on Hollywood Higgins.
And it just
no
felt like
call.
The Browns, we don't get that call.
It's just, this is what it's like to be a Browns fan. This is what it's like.
You know, the optimism, about an hour before the game is something that I think will only happen next year because, you know, the cycle in the offseason, we forget everything. I don't know if I'll ever feel like that again. It just, everything felt off. You could argue this play, even if we get it, Deshaun Watson, he can't throw enough and get it.
I agree.
And that's fine. You can argue that, but show the consistency in the refereeing. When you look at a Mike Tomlin challenge for 20 minutes, and then this game is going on until midnight because of your dumb, then you can't sit there and look at this and say, all right, let's just go home. Let's just drink our IC Light up there in Pittsburgh. Let's go. Yeah,
the Yinzers did it again. No. Just no respect for the game or the rules when, they don't even look at this.
Man, this missed call, Nick Chubb, -7 yards for the offense for the Steelers in the fourth quarter. A game in where the Steelers won, and at the end, I don't know, Tom, if you saw this, they were chanting, "Fire Canada!" The whole end game. They got all of those people in the stadium to agree to fire a guy after they just beat the Browns.
Beat a team that's better than them. Yeah, I mean, I agree, though. Matt Canada's not calling up good plays, but I also don't blame him. Like, Kenny Pickett sucks. Kenny Pickett's just really bad, and that's what can Matt Canada do when Kenny Pickett's really bad? This was a strange game. That top left square, that play they threw one to he's really their returner, Ozlewski or whatever. They got him from the Patriots. First off, that dude's first opportunity to return a kick, he caught it at the 9 and went out of bounds, and it was like a really weird play. For no reason. It was like, why did you toe tap that and stop? It was like he was playing for the Browns. Then on this play, he gets drilled by Denzel Ward, Denzel Ward had another huge game. We can't even talk about it. We can't even be happy for him. But Denzel Ward drills him. Ball goes loose. I don't know who picks it up, but they fumble it. It bounces around. Luckily, we still get the ball. Like, it was like watching pinball. It was such a weird play. Then you've got the first play of the game, touchdown. George Pickens, broken play, touchdown. And then you have Jerome Ford, who is kind of like the only good thing that happened yesterday. Jerome Ford had a frickin' game. I will say, so Nick Chubb gets carted off the field. It's quite devastating for anybody who's watching. And Kevin Stefanski did something that I was like, that's smart, but that's pretty damn heartless. The first play from scrimmage after Nick Chubb got hurt, he called like a hurry up and like quickly did a out route with Jerome Ford and scored a touchdown. And I was like, that was smart, but that was kind of shady. Like, I don't know how I felt about that.
Same way I felt about that when we needed 1 yard and he does an option play.
Yeah, there's that.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're right. And Jerome Ford caught that touchdown, and then he also had a 70-yard run, 69-yard run. 69, keep it classy, Jerome. He had 106 yards, just like Nick Chubb had in the first game. So, I mean, this is not like a take or anything, but Nick Chubb went down, and we really didn't see a drop-off. Like, our running game was still ridiculous, ultimately. And Jerome Ford played his ass off. He was the only guy who was trying to carry the team. Like, Deshaun kept finding ways to give the Steelers the ball. And Jerome played great. He didn't necessarily prove that he's ready to be the bell cow, but I think he can be a featured back in a maybe a 1-2 punch. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's small and can get around, and a little speedster can catch the ball. A guy like Kareem Hunt, or a guy that is like a Ezekiel Elliott, where he just punches you up the gut, kind of like Nick Chubb. It seems like that would be a great 1-2 punch. Jerome Ford, under the circumstances, he didn't know before the game he'd have to go in. And I don't know if he knew the entire playbook, if they had to run certain things for him or whatever. But for what happened, he was our bright spot when everyone couldn't get over what happened to Nick Chubb. What I argue, Stefanski's got to be that leader and reel us all back in, and I don't think he did a good job of that. But Jerome Ford looked like the only one that was do it for Chubb. I mean, that's got to be the motto. Like Greg Newsome has, he had some comments afterwards and said, we're going to win this season for Nick Chubb because he's a stand-up guy. And Jerome Ford was the only one playing like that.
He walked the walk. Well, I also want to say, the defense played great. They did play great. They just weren't getting turnovers for touchdowns. So it seemed like they weren't playing as great as the Steelers. But they really were dominant. I think the X factor in the game ended up being special teams. We had a poor performance from special teams, but their punter kept hitting it down to, he hit it to the 1, he hit it to the 5. He was on his, okay.
But DPJ did not look like he could ever be a returner. He was a little hesitant.
Most of our players looked like they were feeling it. They were like, oh, I'm on primetime in an away game. And they were playing like it. They were playing like they knew how big this moment was. And that was scary. But except for Jerome Ford. He was a dog. He seriously was.
He was a dog. I mean, DeJuan Jones, one false start. Only really time they talked about him. He had a decent game for going against TJ Watt. And we, like you said, our defense, they played amazing. It's such a shitty feeling when your defense played that great. And we're saying, man, we just wish you could have scored it because we knew the offense couldn't have scored. That was the worst sinking feeling in my stomach, that if JOK doesn't run for that touchdown or this turnover doesn't somehow result in a touchdown, it just felt like, man, we might not be able to score either way. Hopkins had a great game. He missed one. He made one from over 50, which I was
55.
I was shitting on him for it. If you guys haven't heard our first episode, link in bio, and I was like, oh, I'm so nervous about him 50. I'm not nervous about Hopkins. The D-Hop, the real D-Hop, he played a good game. The people we paid a lot of money, our coach that's supposed to get our guys, it didn't feel like we had it there. It felt like, first couple minutes, man, it just felt like we were going to lose.
Yeah. Browns-Titans week 3. The Titans lost in a really weird, boring, turnover-ridden game in week 1 against the Saints. And I was like, oh, that's a Titans team I'm excited to play. And then they beat the Chargers last week. And I think it was a classic case of the Chargers are more talented, but the Titans are way better coached. And they just stayed in it, and they ran when they needed to. They're kind of playing the way that I would like to see the Browns play. Focusing on their run game and letting their defensive players, because they still have some great defensive players. They've got Simmons, Landry, and Byard, who are all still very good players. And they've got enough weapons on offense, too, that should just be respected, with Derrick Henry, the fake D-Hop. Traylon Burks actually had some pretty big plays.
Catch. Big, long, good play.
So they're a team that we absolutely have to respect. And this guy clearly looks like he played a bit more football, but he's also kind of a silver fox. So this is truly like us seeing if we are who we say we are. This is, last week I didn't think this was as big of a game as it is, but this is a big game. This is a team that's been in the playoffs a lot the last couple of years, and it ultimately comes down to Tannehill versus Watson. And I have no idea who's better in that matchup, because both defenses are going to show up and both run games are going to show up, and both coaches are going to play a game that they think is smart.
Yeah. Tennessee Titans 5 sacks against the Chargers last week. Our pass rush did not look good against the Steelers. Makes it a crazy game. Before the Steelers game, we said, man, when we win against the Steelers, the Titans are going to be a trap game. This is the game right here. This is the point in the Cleveland Browns season where a win or loss is going to give us the take of, should we blow it up or are we good? My hope is to win, Tom. I'm not even going to give a score prediction because I can't do it. Because the score that I think, I don't want to say it out loud. So it's going to be tough. One thing I want to... Tannehill bought himself another, 2 to 4 weeks of job security after the game they had against the Chargers, overtime win. So it's like you said, battle of quarterbacks. Who's the idiot quarterback? That's probably the team that's going to lose.
Yeah, people love to say like, oh, that guy's just a game manager. I think game managing as a quarterback in the NFL is the hardest way to play quarterback. Like if you're a gunslinger and people expect you to throw a pick or two, you get to play so much more free and just throw the ball around. But if your job is to only throw a few times and never throw any interceptions, that's hard. That's really hard to do, especially against the defensive groups that we've faced. Bengals D-line, Steelers D-line, and now this D-line and linebacking court. They're tough, man. This isn't an easy game. And Deshaun's going to feel a lot of pressure. This has the capacity to be a slugfest stinker. Like this could be like their week 1 matchup where it's 15-16 or something like that.
There could be a couple safeties in this game.
I also think it matters where they're playing. I don't remember if it's in Cleveland or Tennessee. I think it's in Tennessee. No, it's in Cleveland.
So you have back-to-backs.
It's in Cleveland. So I think that's going to matter. I think ultimately, we squeak this win out, but it's going to be an ugly game where we're going to walk away from it going, we're not sure what we have in Deshaun. And when people say we're not sure, all that means is he's not what I want. He's not what I want yet. And I don't think that we're going to feel differently after this game. We might be going, damn, that surprise punt return was awesome. And Jerome Ford had that great screen. And then, Denzel Ward actually got a pick 6, so that was cool. But I don't think we're going to be walking away saying, Deshaun lit it up.
Tough to think after 6 days a guy like Deshaun can get it together and be what we want in our heads. I agree. The only way we're going to win is just like if the Steelers, if everyone else but the people who drive the ball on offense and have to get paid to score, if they do well, that's the only way that I think we can win this game. Go Browns, guys. Man, oh man. So the Browns lost Nick Chubb on a dirty hit by Minkah Fitzpatrick. The Browns are already rumored to be in the hunt for Kareem Hunt, who apparently Kareem Hunt visited the Browns on Tuesday. Also in trade talks for possibly Cam Akers. Tom, who do you want to see them sign? Jonathan Taylor?
Rich Eisen brought up trading for Jonathan Taylor, which I was like, yeah, that's fun to think about if we're playing Madden, but I don't really want to sell because
let's lose more first-round picks.
It would be more than just a second-round pick for him. They wanted Jalen Waddle in return for Jonathan Taylor, which is absurd. And I don't want Cam Akers. Kareem makes the most sense. He knows the playbook. He knows Kevin. He knows Deshaun. He knows Jerome. He can be the complementary piece if we're going to get one, and I really think we need to get one. Leonard Fournette still on the couch. He's somebody I would look at just as a big thumper. But I mean, if we go for Jonathan Taylor, are we just like fully giving up on Nick Chubb like entirely? It just too many weird questions there. So I think yeah, we just sign Kareem. I hope he stayed in shape and stayed healthy. That's the real question. I think it's honestly up to like whether or not he's willing to get in shape. I think he'll take whatever paycheck he can get right now.
And if not, let's figure out what back that is kind of like Kareem Hunt, that is just like a thick tree stump that can just go in and catch sometimes. Well, we have Jerome to catch. What I don't want, and if we got this guy, I'm going to lose my I don't want Cam Akers. I
don't want Cam Akers.
Is just disgusting, written all over him. Is a guy you can't trust. Somehow wanted to leave the Rams, and I was like, oh, no, I'm actually doing good, and then couldn't even beat out guys who aren't even in the league anymore. I don't want Cam Akers. I don't want to give up half of the next 10 years of our drafts for Deshaun Watson and Jonathan Taylor, just two troubled youths. I'm good. Let's get Kareem. Good news about Kareem. He hasn't tweeted in a while, and we were talking about his Instagram and his Twitter, and he changed his Twitter to all of his high school and I think college, like NFL shirts, so nothing on the Browns. After about a year of hiatus, he did tweet a Batman emoji, a broken heart emoji, and a love emoji. So he's watching. He wants to be here. Willoughby's finest needs to get and suit up for us, man.
No, and I truly believe, and this is no knock on Nick Chubb, but if we have Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford, there really won't be a drop-off. Like, those two combined can play the role that Nick Chubb would for this team.
And we can win. We can still win. There's still hope with all this doom and all this gloom and that, we've talked about. We can still win. We don't need our quarterback to get that much better. We just need him to throw the ball.
Let's talk Cavs. Let's talk Cavs a little bit. And, it's just our last little rapid fire Cavs topics because the Cavs are playing in October. We're getting ready for the season, and we've had some goofy headlines.
Mm-hmm.
First off, we signed Tristan Thompson, and a lot of people thought we were just going to sign him and have him retire. Apparently, he intends to play, so I guess we can count on him for a few offensive rebounds and nothing else.
Tristan Thompson was on ESPN before he got on to the Lakers. On ESPN, he was just saying, like, basically, I want to play again. I want to play with my boy LeBron. Gets a little stint. Somehow found his way on the Cavs. Definitely will not be able to score for us. I honestly don't like to see this because it just feels like some of the old gunk is trickling back in. We'll have way too many Kardashians at our games now, and I don't know how I feel about it, but I guess I love TT.
I still love him. He's still our boy. He's still got some incredible rebounds for us when we needed it most, but I don't know if he can anymore. I guess we'll see what happens. Who knows if he even, gets any minutes. I guess we'll see. But in our bottom right, we've got Mr. Kobe Altman, our GM.
What happened to him?
And again, this doesn't really affect the team now that he's acquired the players, I guess, that he wants, but your boy had an OVI, and that sucks. That's just always a bad look. I think it was 8 p.m. also. It's like, were you day drinking somewhere? Was he playing golf? I'm sure I could find the details of the story. I don't want to know about it. This is not the headline I want to see about the Cavs. All I want to see is, yeah, they've been doing runs at their practice gym, and they look great. Mm-hmm. That's all I want to hear right now, unless they sign somebody. I just want to hear them say, we're getting ready for the season. I don't want to hear, oh, yeah, the staff is getting lit and operating vehicles.
It makes you think, was he just lit when he signed TT and he thought he was thought he was 6-7 years back and oh yeah, let's just go sign him. I remember Michael Jordan once when he was drafting, they had a picture of him leaving the hotel room, bottle of tequila pretty much all gone, his eyes red as heck after he set in the pick. And now I'm wondering, do all these guys just, is it just like me being a GM on NBA 2K24 where, you had 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you're like, let's trade all our picks for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the fantasy draft when you've been drinking the whole time and you're like, Elijah Moore, You're going to have a huge year.
Yes.
All right. And last thing about the Cavs, potential acquisitions. This is the time of year when washed up players do their workouts. They post some videos of them making shots and then, looking jacked. One of those players I am interested in is John Wall, who I think still has some left in the tank and could be a very serviceable backup. I think Rubio has just had too many major injuries. Let's sign him to be a coach. I don't think he...
Well, and Rubio said he's retiring for the time. And so, what are you just holding us hostage right now?
I was confusing Rubio with Neto also. It's like they're both old guys.
Whatever.
Like
European
old Europeans
guys.
Who,
no lateral movement.
They look better on paper than they do on the court. I think John Wall could be, if he accepted the role of being behind Garland and Mitchell as like, I'm going to come off the bench, I'll provide some scoring, and I'll provide some like perspective. That's all you want from a veteran backup. And I think, I don't know, I'm willing to kick the tires on it, see if he still can play.
And he'll mesh in the locker room, and Monty Bates has already kind of tweeted that he wants him, and I emoji this, I emoji that, and when that means that they're friends and he wants him. Wouldn't hate to see it. I think we have Ty Jerome.
Oh, Ty Jerome. Yeah, we did sign him.
We signed him, but he doesn't look like he can come in right away and lead that second unit. John Wall still, like I said, has some left in the tank. I think it would just be good for us to have a guy with that veteran leadership. Kind of really want to see it, but I don't know how much leeway we have after just giving up a lot of money this offseason. I think the additions we have, I'm comfortable going into the season with. Want to see how that floor looks spread out, see them knock down threes like they're supposed to. And overall, you hate to see Kobe Altman, the head of this organization, not the head, but he is a pillar of this organization, kind of slip up and do something
right before the
doing.
season too. Right before the season.
So is it stressing him that much? It's making me nervous the more I think about this.
Yeah, I'm sure he can't sleep right now because he bet his whole life on Donovan Mitchell, who has pretty much openly said, like, I don't want to be in Cleveland. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited. It's funny, I said all this bad stuff, and I'm still quite excited about the team. I think they're still going to be a top 4 in the East caliber team.
Yeah, we have it written all over us. Championship, baby.
Championship.
Yeah, we know how that happens with the Browns.
Yeah. You feel any better? This was supposed to be therapeutic.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. That's okay. That's okay. The only thing that makes you feel better is winning. And that's because you're a true competitor, Zach.
I love competition. Let's just go 1-0 next week against the Titans.
Hey, next week we just got to go 1-0.
Just 1-0. Deshaun,
we got to win
1%.
the turnover battle. We got to play 3 phases of football.
Yep.
We got to. Can we sign a goddamn fullback? Damn it! Can we sign a Mike Allstott? Is there one of them out there? I just need somebody with a neck collar to hit somebody.
Is there a 5 tight end set somewhere I'm not knowing?
For F's sake. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
Now I feel better.
Okay, good. Who catches more passes? You. Just like we're on the beach.
Okay.
It's barbecue. I'm whipping it into the wind. The ball's kind of wonky. You and Harrison Bryant. You each get 5 chances to catch a ball. Who's catching more?
I catch none, and somehow he still catches less than that.
Okay, good.
And
good,
we
good,
get
good.
Austin Hooper back and hate our lives.
Oh, my God. Hooper. It's like, no, they weren't saying Hooper. The fans were booing. We're all disappointed.
Fire Canada.
Hell
yeah. Ooh, Jinxie Obi Soda.
Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. This has been the Witnesses Podcast. We are experiencing our first loss of the year, so it's a little bit different this time. But we appreciate you tuning in. We hope this helped you as much as it helped us or didn't. And we're going to be here next week. We're going to be here every week, okay? We love Cleveland. We love these teams. We love these people, okay? TW.
Peace.